St. Mary of the Mongols. Full name in Greek: Theta Epsilon Omicron Tau Omicron Kappa Omicron Sigma Pi Alpha Nu Alpha Gamma Iota Omega Tau Iota Sigma Sigma Alpha. PR. Theotokos Panaghiótissa. Lit. All Holy Theotokos. Or Pi Alpha Nu Alpha Gamma Iota Alpha Mu Omicron Epsilon Chi Lambda Iota Omega Tau Iota Sigma Sigma Alpha. PR. Panaghía Muchliótissa. Turkish name: Kanlı Kilise, meaning bloody church, is an Eastern Orthodox church in Istanbul. It is the only Byzantine church of Constantinople that has never been converted to a mosque, always remaining open to the Greek Orthodox Church. Location: the church, which usually is not open to the public and lies behind a high wall, is placed in the district of Fatih, in the neighborhood of Fena. It lies on Tevki Kafa Mektebi Sokak, at the summit of a slope overlooking the Golden Horn, and near to the imposing building of the Fana Greek Orthodox College. History: at the beginning of the 7th century, Princess Sopatra, daughter of the Byzantine Emperor Maurikios, and her friend Eustolia built a nunnery on the slope of the 5th hill of Constantinople. The ground, which was bestowed by the emperor, lay north of the cistern of Aspa and had been used up to then as a cemetery. The building was dedicated to St. Eustolia. During the 11th century, a monastery was added. It was dedicated to All Saints, and had a close relationship with the monastery of the Great Lavra on Mount Athos. During the Latin domination after the Fourth Crusade, the monastery disappeared. In 1261, after the reconquest of the city by the Byzantines, Isaac Doukas, father-in-law of George Acropolites and maternal uncle of Michael VIII Palaeologos, rebuilt a simple, one-story monastery, dedicated to the Theotokos Panaghiótissa. In 1266, the building was enlarged, and a painter, named Modestos, decorated it. In 1281, Maria Palaeologina, illegitimate daughter of Emperor Michael VIII and widow of Abaqa, Khan of the Mongolian Ilkhanate, returned to Constantinople, after an absence of 15 years. She is said to have rebuilt the nunnery and the church, which then assumed the shape still seen today, deserving the title of Kateterissa, foundress of that complex, and retired there until her death. Since that time, the nunnery and the church got the appellation of Muchliótissa, of the Mongols, in Greek. After her death the convent decayed, because Herers used the properties of the nunnery for their purposes, and had even raised a mortgage on them. Finally the nuns started a suit with the heirs, first before the emperor, and then before the patriarch. The heirs presented as proof of their right an imperial crucible certifying the purchase of the nunnery from Maria Palaeologina, but the document was deemed false, so that the Patriarchate restored the rights of the nuns. The nunnery existed until the end of the empire, then was abandoned. On May 29, 1453, the day of the fall of Constantinople, the surroundings of the building saw the last desperate resistance of the Greeks against the invading Ottomans. Due to that, the church got the Turkish name Kanlı Kilise, Church of the Blood, and the road that leads to it from the Golden Horn is still named the Ascent of the Standard Bearer, Turkish, Sancakta Yokusu, in honor of an Ottoman standard bearer who found his death fighting here. Tradition holds that Sultan Mehmed II endowed the church to the mother of Christodoulus, the Greek architect of the Mosque of Fatih. In acknowledgement of his work, the grant was confirmed by Bayazid II, in recognition of the services of the nephew of Christodoulus, who built the mosque bearing that sultan's name. Under Sultans Selim I and Ahmed II there were two Ottoman attempts to convert the church into a mosque, the last one, pursued by Grand Vizier Ali Koprulu at the end of the 17th century. was thwarted by Dimitri Cantemir, and, thanks to the grants of Mehmed II and Bayazid II, the church remained a parish of the Greek community. Thus, St. Mary of the Mongols is one among the few Byzantine churches of Istanbul whose ancient dedication was never forgotten. Damaged several times, in 1633, 1640 and 1729, by fires that ravaged Fena, the building was repaired and enlarged, losing altogether its primitive elegance. At the end of 19th century a small school was built close to it, and in 1892 a small bell tower was added. In 1955, the church was damaged during the anti-Greek Istanbul pogrom, and since then it has been restored. Description: the complex lies behind a high wall, and it is usually not open to the public, although it has always remained in Greek hands. The building has been modified much more heavily than those converted into mosques. It has, or originally had, a tetraconch plan with the central dome enclosed by a tower, which renders it a unicum in the Byzantine architecture of Constantinople and, on a much smaller scale, surprisingly anticipates those of many great Ottoman mosques. The dome rests on a cross formed by 4 half-domes. The narthex has 3 bays, whose central bay is covered by a barrel vault. On the south side, the church has been demolished and rebuilt, and the southern half-dome and the southern bay of the narthex have been removed and replaced by 3 aisles. The interior has been stripped of the original decoration, but it is filled with icons and other ornaments, making an examination of the church very difficult. On the eastern wall there is a large representation of the Last Judgment, perhaps painted by Modestos in 1266. Moreover, noteworthy are a mosaic icon from the 11th century portraying the Theotokos, and 4 icons dating from the 13th and 14th century. Under the church are visible excavations, and an underground passage said to reach Hagia Sophia, although the 2 buildings are several kilometers apart. Despite its historical importance, the church has never been studied from an architectural point of view. Sources: Van Millingen, Alexander, 1912, Byzantine Churches of Constantinople, London, Macmillan and Co., Manbury, Ernest, 1953. The Tourists Istanbul, Istanbul, Situri Bayradla Basimevi, Janan, Raymond, 1953. La géographie ecclésiastique de l'Empire byzantin. 1. Part. Le siège de Constantinople et le patriarcat œcuménique. 3rd volume. Les églises et les monastères. In French. Paris. Institut Français d'études byzantines. Müller-Wiener, Wolfgang. 1977. Bildlexikon zur Topographie Istanbuls. Byzantine. Konstantinopolis. Istanbul bis zum Beginn d. 17 jh. In German. Tübingen. Wasmuth. ISBN 9783803010223. Ryder, Edmund C. 2010. The Despoina of the Mongols and Her Patronage at the Church of the Theotokos Mongolian. Journal of Modern Hellenism. Winter. 27. 71-102. The Church of Panaghía Muchliótissa. Page about the church on the Patriarchate's official site.